The Joe Rogan Experience.
So how did how did you come up with hashtag CTESPN? Because that's my favorite.
I feel like when I stopped playing football and I walked off the field, people was like, "This guy's crazy. Like he's retarded." You know what I'm saying? He's illiterate. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I could, rebrand CTESPN with, giving people perspective of different challenges people face and great individuals, how they overcome adversity, and just kind of share and tune perspective of, how people is getting through trauma. Now, no matter if you're a football player, I mean, what is like for you? You started damn UFC, UFC. Like
the
look it, and we are back. I am Dave, 10-year intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything. As you see, the search, patents, copyrights, trademarks, as well as trade secrets. Let me make sure this everything is working the way it needs to be working. Okay, it seems like we're on live. It seems like everything is good. So this is a clip where Antonio Brown was on the Joe Rogan Experience this past week, and he was talking about a number of things. One of those was CTESPN. So for those of you who don't know, Antonio Brown, former players with the Steelers, they say a lot of people say after his hit against Burt Feck or whatever the guy's name who played with Cincinnati, a linebacker, back when Antonio Brown was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown has been suffering from brain injuries and have CTE. So it seems like Antonio Brown, and we're not even going to get off into the World War II attire that Antonio Brown has kind of showed up with. Is he the biggest troll of all time, or maybe he does have a little bit of head trauma, but hey, if you play football, we kind of all do. But anyway, so it seems like he's given the situation with CTE and people telling Antonio Brown he has CTE, it seems like he created this thing, essentially a news network called CTESPN, which is a marriage of CTE, which again is the brain trauma, as well as obviously we know ESPN and kind of the sports broadcasting network. So he kind of merged those two and created CTESPN. I actually did a video earlier last year where I talked about kind of based on an interview that Antonio Brown did. I'm like, okay, ESPN has sent them a cease and desist letter to stop using CTESPN because it infringes on their trademark ESPN. And it seems like not only did he not stop using a mark, but he doubled down and filed for a trademark application. And I was surprised at that, but it looks like, and we'll pull up the paperwork here in a little bit, the United States Patent and Trademark Office has allowed the trademark. Again, we're going to pull up that paperwork in a little bit. Now, it seems like Antonio Brown had to correct some formality issues as dealing with the trademark application. However, the United States Patent and Trademark Office is allowing Antonio Brown to trademark the term CTESPN. So, again, I'm not sure if he's crazy. Is he a genius? I'm not sure. But all I know is, it seems like he's building something with the CTESPN thing. So let's kind of finish up this video. Then I want to pull up the paperwork with the United States Patent and Trademark Office saying that they are allowing the mark CTESPN. Let's go.
Reality of head trauma is something that we're like, as a society, we're just embracing over the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't for that concussion movie. I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes. That Will Smith movie.
Yes.
And the story, that doctor, of him finding how many people have like significant brain trauma from football.
Yes. So for me, I try to use it because this is a serious standpoint. A lot of ex-players and players has been diagnosed and, passed away from CT. So for me, on a serious point of, bringing record awareness and bringing, a reality standpoint of what athletes and people fighting or anyone in their daily lives facing from head trauma, of just people writing them off, and encouraging therapy, encouraging how do you get through tough situation and then making it funny. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like nowadays, if you do something crazy, people are like, oh yeah, that guy's crazy. So it's like, let's just show why they crazy in CTESPN and show the cause of the craziness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a real cause, the craziness. And
yeah, so I mean that's it. Like I said, I'm not sure if Antonio Brown is trolling with this whole CTESPN. Clearly, he's making a thing out of it. News network, broadcasting sports, and so much more. It seems like he has going on. Let's pull up the paperwork from the United States Patent and Trademark Office showing that they are allowing the term CTESPN to be registered as a trademark. So let's kind of pull it up here. So as you can see here, I mean, again, this is from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. This is a non-final office action that was issued late last year, December 2nd of 2024. And it seems like this is attorney address in Arizona. This is the mark CTESPN, this application number. Now the applicant who owns the mark. And this is definitely not legal advice, but if you're going to have a trust, because it seems like he's doing a good thing where he's putting the intellectual property in a trust, which I actually like. I probably wouldn't have the trust with my name on it. So Antonio L. Ala Express Trust. This is the name of the trust that seems like Antonio Brown has, and he's putting in the CTESPN mark in it. So like I said, on one end, I actually like that he's putting the IP in a trust, but you want to kind of do it in a way that the trust is distinct or is not kind of easily ascertainable as far as who owns the trust. Obviously, if it's a trust named Antonio L. Ala Express Trust, it's probably owned by Antonio Brown. But let's kind of read through what the USPTO is saying. They want him to file a response. They issued it December 2nd. So the reference application has been reviewed by the assigned trademark examining attorney. Applicant must respond timely and complete to the issue below. So search results, no conflicting marks found. So they did not find that ESPN was conflicting, or the term CTESPN conflicted with ESPN, which is big. Now, I'm not sure if ESPN at some point is going to petition the council to mark if they haven't already, but at least according to the examiner attorney at the USPTO, they did not find ESPN as being a conflicting mark with Antonio Brown's CTESPN. The trademark examining attorney has searched the USPTO database of registered and pending marks and has found no conflicting marks that will bar registration under Trademark Act Section 2D. Summary of issues entitled Entity Information Requirement. Applicant may recall or may call or email whatever. Entity Information Requirement. So it seems like this is what Antonio Brown has to do to actually get his trademark issued. So just because your mark is allowed, that doesn't mean you have a registered trademark. Your mark has to go from allowed to issued or registered for it to be, essentially official. So applicant is a trust. So it seems like the USPTO is saying, hey, Antonio Brown, you have filed this, and the ownership or the applicant is a trust and must identify the trustees as the applicant and indicate the name of the trust, if any. And then it seems like he's kind of citing some essentially some USPTO some laws and codes. Additionally, applicant must provide the state under whose laws the trust exists and list the names and citizenship or foreign country or state of incorporations or organization of the individual trustees. When there are more than 10 individual trustees, applicant need list only the first 10. So applicant must amend the application to identify itself using the following format. So he has to use this following format when responding to the application. Then the guidelines for this application to proceed. Applicant must explicitly address each requirement in this office action. For a requirement, applicant should set forth the changes or statements. So it seems that's pretty much it. And it seems like the examiner attorney is Sandra Snab. So, hey, we all were laughing at Antonio Brown. Maybe he's on to something. Clearly, ESPN, at least according to the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the examining attorney did not find ESPN as conflicting with CTESPN. And once Antonio Brown kind of, jumped through these hoops or irons out these formality requirements, he will have a trademark on the term CTESPN. So again, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. Is he a genius? Is he still crazy? Does he have CTE? Does he not have CTE? We saw him on Joe Rogan this past week. Seems like he may be on to something, at least in my opinion. So we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit the subscribe button to be a part of the IP community, where we talk about a little bit of everything on here. I actually just finished up a live. I meant to kind of do this Antonio Brown interview earlier, but again, things happen. So we're doing the Antonio Brown interview now. We do interviews. We do lives where we break down lawsuits, Shark Tank pitches. We do a ton of things on here, talk about these current events. So please hit the subscribe button and find something that you can get off with. And again, I want you guys to protect the IP, as is Antonio Brown is doing. Go off, have a business, make money, and kind of ride off into the sunset. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.